Hey, what's up? What's up? So, Dune Prophecy got an opportunity to see the first 4 episodes of the 6 episode series, and yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome in that if you love the Dune universe, this is not like the movies. It falls in line in the movies, but it's not like the movies because what Denis Villeneuve created is totally different. You spend a lot of time in a different place, and this one we spend a lot of time in a different place, a totally different time with totally different characters. Yes, the one thing that I liked about, first of all, can you just get this out of the way? Watching this, especially with the Corino family, led by Mark Strong's character, who is Empire Javico Corino, I got Matrix vibe. This feels more like a post-Matrix universe. What do I mean? Especially with that particular family. Now, the Matrix story is basic. Machines control human beings. But in this particular universe, they have a certain relationship with machines. I don't want to spoil it for people, but there's an attitude towards machine because of something that happened in the past. And they actually kind of show it with a very artistic flashback. And that artistic flashback, I was watching it, and after watching the Matrix, I was like, wait, what if this was in the Matrix universe? Because there's something that they just did, or they just talk, or their attitude towards machine for me. I was like, yep, this might be in the Matrix universe. Now, that's just me. That's not what I'm saying. When you see it, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Now, the one thing that I appreciate, the one big positive about this show, and I know it's very intimidating when you hear of Dune, basically. Even when you saw the first 2 movies, you know the book, you know how complex it is. And so if you are to hear of a show that was based on Dune, you like go like, yo, this universe is too complex, you know. This idea of Dune is too big, and I don't think they're going to do a great job in making it digestible for the ordinary person. But here's the thing, they kind of did that. Yeah, because this story is familiar in that there's a lot of there's the classic, if you watch Game of Thrones, there are factions, there are groups, there are families, and all of them are struggling for power. You don't know who to root for, but the characters are written so well that they're accessible. You can follow a particular character. You know their motivations, you know their flaws, you know what they want, you know where they're going, you know where they're coming from. So they feel like people, but they are in this majestic and over-the-top universe. It's so futuristic, it's pure sci-fi, but they're still accessible in that they are given tropes and they're given personalities that we can relate to. I think that's one of the best things that I saw from this show, because it's classic TV. Let me just call it that way. It's classic TV, but given an over-the-top sci-fi coat of paint. So I thought, I was surprised by how much I was able to follow characters, and they use exposition to actually get us in and make you understand. For the 4 episodes, for the major part of it, I was able to follow what was happening. I didn't feel lost, and that's an advantage and a disadvantage. Why? Because in order to get you to understand what's happening, there's a lot of exposition, and when there's a lot of exposition, you don't get a lot of action for the majority of the show. Yeah, you don't get it's not action driven. There's a lot of drama. There's a lot of intrigue in politics. There's a lot of backstabbing. First 17 minutes, someone gets stabbed. I mean, it's insane. And I know there's some guys, I know the world that we live in today, there's some guys who are probably thinking this show was greenlit so fast because it's about women, and it's obviously going to focus on women and women empowerment, and they're going to preach to us. Yes, they do that, but the big difference is that it's like the writers and the showrunners knew that. So when you're taken to the Bene Gesserits, I know some of you, after seeing the trailer, thought it was going to a certain direction, but I like the fact that even there, it's like a boarding school. You have all these personalities who have issues, personalities who you like, some that you hate, and the conflict within that particular group is also interesting to follow. There are people who have issues. There are girls, women who have issues. They have secrets. And they even sometimes take it to some really, really dark places. Like in one particular episode, there's something that they do I don't know if this is a spoiler, they do with the underworld. There's something that they do with going to a totally different dimension. And that is straight out of a horror film. I was like, damn, that is some scary stuff. And so you have all those moments as you go, things become intense. There's this fantastic wedding that is done, and you think it's going a certain way, and then something is introduced that just turns everything upside down, and then the politics within the family and why. I mean, the culture in itself is also very interesting. Why is this someone marrying this someone, and yet there are, there's a clear difference. And why is that happening? What's the political motive? Those moments for me, I thought were pretty good. And as I said, if you think this is DEI, nope. Yeah, it's a very clean show. It's a very focused show because they know exactly what they want to say. So as I was saying, the world feels lived in that there's a culture, there's a nightlife, there are young people doing drugs. It feels like it's really well, it feels like a universe which has been lived in. I hope I'm making sense. Now, for me, the most impressive things was number one, the cinematography, beautifully shot. There's some beautiful sets. Man, the costume people, the set designers, the art department basically outdid themselves. The costumes are fantastic. Man, there's the wedding scene is the small gadgets that do stuff and you're like, oh my gosh, that is so cool. Basically, the art department, the costume designers, the set designers, the prop designers did a fantastic job. I love what they were able to create. I love the world. The CGI is also awesome. Surprisingly enough, it looks really clean. And I think having 6 episodes works for them because they don't have to push their budget and create like mid stuff. I think they use their budget very well because the show actually looks very, very good. Now, in terms of performances, Emily Watson is really good in this. I thought because a lot of, especially the first episode, really, really relies on her performance. We have Mark Strong as the Empire, Javico. We have a character, Desmond Hart. I think it's Travis Fimley. And when he comes in, shit goes down. Let me just put it that way. When he comes in, things go upside down. He is the catalyst that, as you go on, just twists everything. He's that drop of chaos that was needed at a particular point that totally flips everything. Now, and he's the connection, he's the connection between Denis Villeneuve and this particular show. Yes, this happens 10,000 years before, but there is something that is able to do that connects now particular planets, particular things that you're familiar with this particular show. So would I recommend this? Yeah, this is a great show. If you watch modern shows, this will work perfectly because it falls in line with, in terms of story structure, it falls in line with what you've seen, what you're familiar with. The political drama, the political intrigue, backstabbing, secrets, there are a lot of secrets, there are a lot of strong visuals, there are a lot of disturbing imagery if you're into that thing because a lot of things happen to people that you wouldn't expect and terrible things, very painful things, and you see them in real time. So I think it's a very good show. It's polished, it looks fantastic. The visual effects are competent, it's very well shot. The set designs are awesome, the costume designs are fantastic. If I was to give this out of 5, I would give this 3.7 out of 5. I think it was pretty awesome. In terms of flaws, as I said, my biggest problem is exposition. There was a lot of exposition. And then I'm an action head, so I expected to see a lot of action, but you don't have a lot of action. That's why I've given it like a 3 out of 7. That 1.3 is because of the lack of action and then the exposition. And the exposition is necessary because the showrunners assume that you don't know this world. So there's a lot of talking, there are a lot of things that are just to use that. There are a lot of story devices that are used to give you an idea of how this world works. So basically that's it. The performance, also something that I also did not like is I felt like at some point there are some characters who feel like TV characters. They make a lot of TV performances. Yeah, and I want you to remember a club scene whereby you watch characters and they feel like they're performing for TV. They don't feel like they're performing for this, because the whole show feels cinematic, it feels big. But when you're watching these two characters, they feel like they are performing for the small screen. So that's one. That's the other reason that I did not like it completely. But basically, it's a decent show. It's entertaining. It's huge. It's beautiful, and it's intriguing from a very political point of view. Basically, that's it. Remember to always watch what you enjoy and enjoy what you watch. Shall see you on the next one. Adios.